I have a message from the Village Jedi.
Max Rebo, hit it. Hello, Panorama family, and welcome back to the Village Jedi. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if it's not, as I said, welcome back. My name is Marina, and I am the local Village Jedi. So this is another Star Wars point of view brought to you by me, Marina. Hello. And really, genuinely, hello, and welcome back. It has been, 2 weeks? Happy Friday. I'm recording this Thursday night, so I recorded this last night if you're listening to this on debut day. It's been 2 weeks. For that, I do apologize. Basically, what happened is, I don't know if you guys have heard this. Wow, we're already going on a tangent. I don't know if you guys have heard this whole theory, but that every person is given a jumble crumble or whatever you want to say of silver spoons. And so the whole thing is sometimes I wake up with 10 spoons. Sometimes I wake up with 5 spoons. Sometimes I wake up with 1 spoon. And when I do something, in exchange, you take a spoon. So I do the dishes. Okay, there's one of my spoons. I go and have coffee with a friend. Okay, there's one of my spoons. So what happened was I had a whole bunch of spoons, and then I went out of town, and everything that we did out of town took every single last silver spoon. So by the time I got home and I had a day and a half to put together this episode, which I had already made the show notes for, or at least had started to, I didn't have enough spoons to even finish the notes. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take this week and relax, recuperate, and be back and better than ever for all you lovely, dovely listeners this week. So welcome. I know it's been a while and I do apologize, but I am very grateful that you allowed me to take a much needed rest and a much needed break on my own show. So thank you. Thank you. Okay. Moving on, I did a live last night and I got ready, and it's been really hot where I live, not to get on the topic of weather, because everyone knows how extremely entertaining talking about the weather is. So I don't want to get wrapped up in that riveting conversation topic. But basically, it's been very hot here, so I didn't want to do full on Jedi outfit. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing sort of a Star Wars inspired outfit, and I love how it came together. I like the braids in my hair. I put in this little ribbon. I've got these necklaces, my little armbands, and a nice cute little shirt that is appropriate for how blazing hot it is outside in my local home. So here we go. Enough with that. Enough with the yap, because we do have some legitimate real life yap to get into as far as Star Wars goes, as far as the episode goes. But before we get into that, a little bit behind the scenes of how you can join the discussion, as always, and before I forget, please follow me on Instagram or TikTok at The Village Jedi, or you can send in an email to be read and discussed on air at the final segment. I don't think we have one this week. I forgot to check, so I'm sorry if you did. But you can send that in at tvjpod@gmail.com, and I will read that on air and discuss it. It can be anonymous if you want. I won't use your name. And I wanted to also say, I say this at the end of the show, but if you're still listening and being patient and ready to be entertained, I will just round this out by saying, please write a review, because it really does help build the community and get more fun listeners like yourself a part of the village. So, but if you're already here, welcome villager. So happy to have you here, and let's go ahead and dive in. But first, as always, a brief ad break. Hello there. If you're looking to build your collection, the Village Jedi is now collaborating with Saber Masters to offer you $20 off your first combat ready laser sword. You heard that correctly, combat ready. The team at Saber Masters makes it their personal mission to create lightsabers built to last using lightweight polycarbonate blades with customizable settings and simple navigation. Saber Masters has really crafted the ultimate experience. Saber Masters is always offering a great deal for Force users everywhere, but with my code TVJ20, you can save an extra $20 at checkout. Simply type in the code at the checkout screen, TVJ20, and you're done. Link will be in the show notes. Okay, so this is a personal opinion list, which means there are wrong answers, but we are going to go through a top 10, including honorable mentions, of the toughest, coolest Star Wars names. If some rando walked up to you on the street and was like, I don't know anything about Star Wars, who's the coolest character and you gave them this name, they would be like, oh yeah, they sound pretty cool. Just with the name alone. They haven't seen the costume, which would be a really fun episode, toughest character based on design. I think I might do that one. They don't know what species they are. What's your favorite Star Wars alien species? I'm also going to do an episode about that. And they also don't know anything about like the character's morals or how they move through the world, which is also a good way to judge how cool / tough a character is. And I don't mean tough like muscles and creatine and all of that. I mean tough like TUFF, like slay, mama, he ate that up, slay, tough. So let's get into this. It's organized into top 10. As I said, there are wrong answers. And then later at the end of this episode, I'm going to read some of your guys' submissions for what are some of your favorite character names that I put on Instagram. Again, if you want to get involved with those prompts, at the Village Jedi on Instagram, check it out. Now that I'm back and better than ever, I will be religiously posting on social media, making my presence known and annoying to all of y'all. So let's get into this. Top 10. I also did a little bit of research. Girl, just cut to the chase. I've got you on the edge of your seat. Here we go. Okay, number 10, Boba Fett. Like, here's what I want you to do. I want you to just close your eyes, unless you're driving. See what happens. Girl. Close your eyes, and when I say this name, just like I said, imagine you're hearing it for the first time. Like, how cool does this sound? The writers cooked. Remy the Rat was under the hat. Cooked. So, Boba Fett is number 10, which the research I did could be a nod to Harrison Ford's character in the 1973 George Lucas film American Graffiti, where Harrison played a character called Bob Falfa. Boba Fett, not a stretch. And it was originally, he didn't have a name. He was just the bounty hunter in The Empire Strikes Back. Let's cast someone as the bounty hunter. Boba Fett is a tough name. That's my number 10. And if you're listening and Boba Fett is in your top 3, hang on, because my number 1 might be your number 10. I doubt it, because my number 1, I cooked with that one, not gonna lie. Grant kind of helped me put this list together, and we're very proud of the choices. So number 10, Boba Fett. Tough, strong name. Number 9, Paz, Tar, Tor, Pre, Vizsla. Clan Vizsla. That just rolls off the tongue. It sounds like a delicious pasta or like a mocktail. Do you want a Vizsla? Do you want that with ice? Would you like to have your marinara Vizsla cooked a la garde or whatever they say? Vizsla is fizzy. It's sharp. It hits. When someone says, like if someone came up to me and was like, hi, my name is Leslie Vizsla. Slay. Or like a dude. Hi, my name's David Vizsla. Bruh. That name is so tough. It just goes hard. Vizsla. So I was looking it up. It said Vizsla is actually based on a breed of hunting dog. Tough. And that Pre Vizsla, who is Jon Favreau's character in the Clone Wars show, and also he voices Paz Vizsla, I believe, in The Mandalorian. It comes from a production pun of pre-visualization, which is like the storyboarding artist process of show writing and animation. But Vizsla is a name that was originally in the comics. We saw that. So Vizsla. It's just so good. So it's number 10. And when you think of someone with that last name, they are a Mandalorian. They do carry a sword. They do strap in to their honorable, sacred, passed down through generations armor. They do wear a chest plate. They do wear a helmet. Vizsla. It just hits. I'm a Vizsla glazer. All right, number 8, Kit Fisto. Oh, this one just hits. Kit Fisto, y'all. I feel like this episode is so good for me to get back in the groove because I hope you can hear my excitement. And if you can't, you can see it on YouTube. I'm like, holding on tight. Like, this is just the Kit Fisto. So the research said that George liked phonetics of certain names, like many other Star Wars character names. Did it sound good? And George was like, Kit Fisto. Yeah, scratches the brain in the right way. Write it down. Kit Fisto is my number 8. Number 7, Lando Calrissian. The man has Riz in his name. Lando Calrissian. Number 7. I feel like this list really could have been like a top 25 because there's hundreds of Star Wars characters. But, I'm just getting back into the groove. I wanted to make a fun, done episode for y'all. Lando Calrissian. Y'all. Originally, Lando's name was Lando Kadar. And Calrissian is based on an Armenian name. Like the way that Armenians have certain names. Calrissian fell into suit. Lando Calrissian. It's just so good. Like, when I was putting together the list, Grant was like, what about Lando Calrissian? Bruh, he didn't even have to finish and it was on the list. It hits. Number 7. Okay, number 6. Before we get into the top 5, I just want to say, if you're out there and you're listening and you're like, hey, this is actually a fabulous episode idea, Marina, I want to do that. Please do. Send me a DM, send me an email, your top 5 favorite character names. Or maybe you chimed in on the Instagram stories before you knew what this week's episode was going to be about. Send me another one. What are your top 5, top 3, whatever, top 1 favorite, toughest, strongest, slayest Star Wars character names? Lando Calrissian, number 7. Number 6, Thrawn. Thrawn. And Thrawn is a nickname, actually. Timothy Zahn, when he created the character and the Chiss species as a whole, had Thrawn's nickname be Myth. It's short for Mithra Nu Ru Odo. I think I pronounced that correctly. If I didn't, please send me an angry comment and educate me. Thrawn. It is a beautifully crafted name to lay the groundwork for Chiss culture. Because from what I've researched about his character, which is very little, I've read the Heir to the Empire series, I've read the Disney new trilogy that he put out, I haven't read the Thrawn Ascendancy trilogy, but that deep dives into Chiss culture. From what I understand, this character's name is tough, not only because of how it sounds and how fun it is to say, but it also, his full name gives you insight into how Chiss work with one another, how they relate to each other, if I gave you my full name, you would be able to find my family surname, you would be able to, oh, that's my grandmother's middle name, oh, like, okay, and for some, like, guys, for Junior, okay, that's my father's name. So a name carries more than just your reputation and that it sounds cool. A lot of times it can actually give insight into your family, your culture. And so that's what happened here. Timothy Zahn was like, I want that to be how it is for the Chiss culture. And so Thrawn is used for non-Chiss to be able to pronounce, oh, my name's a little difficult for you, call me this. But for people who it's not difficult for, this is what they call me. And that gives you insight into how the culture is. So it's cool for multiple levels, but it is number 6, Thrawn. Very cool. Okay, number 5, Cal Kestis. Okay, Kestis is the name of my fish, one of my favorite fish that I have, Cal Kestis. A while ago on social media, I posted a picture of him and I was like, hey, I have this cute fish. What Star Wars inspired names do you guys have for him? A lot of people said Kit Fisto, and I'm not really like a pun person, so I was like, haha, that's pretty funny, but no. Cal Kestis. That name is dope. So my fish's name is Kestis. I think Cal Kestis is a cool name. The research I did said that this was based on a Clint Eastwood Western-style character. Originally, they were going to name him Boone, as in Moonbeam Ice Cream. Moonbeam Ice Cream. We were saved. Someone out there was watching our back. Cal Kestis absolutely hits. And I read that Kestis was actually taken from a Lithuanian word, kestai or kesti, and it means to endure or to persevere. So there's like levels and depth to this name, Kestis, which makes sense because he's an Order 66 survivor. Cal Kestis. So, flawless. No notes. Number 5. Okay. Number 4. This one just hits because it is so identifiable. Like when you hear this name, you're like, oh, Star Wars. Or if someone names their kid this name, you're like, you're a nerd. You're a nerd. And I was thinking about that. Like, Ezra is still a typical common name. Luke is still a typical common name. Ben, typical common name. So number 4, if you guessed it, congratulations. Anakin Skywalker. Anakin Skywalker. If you meet someone or you went to school with a kid named Anakin, his dad was a nerd. Guaranteed. And that was a long conversation between his parents if his mom wasn't. Anakin Skywalker. I actually went to school with a kid and his middle name was Sky. His first name was Lucas because his last name was Walker. I don't know how his dad won that battle, but kid of the century, Luke Skywalker. If you're out there, I hope you're doing well. And I never met you, but I wish I would have. Anakin Skywalker just hits. The research I did on this name, George's son actually had stated that it was a nod. The name Anakin was a nod to the Greek goddess Anik, or Anak. I don't know. I'm not Greek. Which is a Greek goddess of fate and inevitability. I am inevitable. Thanos Skywalker. All right. It was chosen to evoke a sense of destiny, and it really does. Because you cannot hear the name Anakin Skywalker without thinking about the fall to the dark side. The fall of Anakin Skywalker, one of my most liked comments on Instagram, the fall of Anakin Skywalker is my Roman Empire. As a Star Wars fan, it is impossible to go a day without thinking about the fall of Anakin Skywalker when discussing Star Wars, right? You can talk about the EU, you can talk about this, you can talk about that, but the core 6 movies are about the fall of Anakin Skywalker. And even the last movie, Return of the Jedi, Luke is compelled to see the good in his father because there was once good in you, right? The fall of Anakin Skywalker is like, it's not even a cornerstone of the foundation of Star Wars. It is like the concrete of the foundation of Star Wars. You know what I mean? So it just is so iconic. It is so crisp. It is so incredible. Anakin Skywalker is a tough character name. It is cool. It's fun to say. It's fun to hear. It's fun to think about. Everything that comes with the name Anakin Skywalker just hits. Anakin Skywalker. Following suit, no pun intended because I already said I'm not a fan of puns, Darth Vader. Hits. Number 3, Darth Vader. We're now entering top 3 territory. Darth Vader. The research I did said that Darth equals death, Vader equals invader. Vade is actually father in Dutch, or maybe it's Vader. Maybe I forgot to write the R. I can't remember. There's a reference to that in Pitch Perfect if there's any girlies out there listening. Becca's character says it. I also read that George might have had a high school classmate named Gary Vader, and that's kind of where he came up with it, especially because the idea of having Luke and Leia as siblings didn't come until later in the writing process. But this just made me think, like, I wrote down, never wrong a writer. Like, if you're friends with someone who writes, be careful around them. Be careful what you say, be careful what you do, be careful what you share, because it will inevitably end up in a book in some shape or form, especially if you have wronged them. Gary Vader, count your days, and I named the main villain of my saga after you. Slay on George's part, if that's true. But Darth Vader, it just invokes fear. Like, when you hear that name, you're just like, ooh. And he's terrifying. Like, my brother and I were having this conversation. What would the Mount Rushmore of animated villains or fictional villains or whatever you want to say, villains in general, be? And Darth Vader would be in the Mount Rushmore. He would be. If you looked at Mount Rushmore and it was villains of fictional universes, Darth Vader would guaranteed be chipped in the stone. So Darth Vader is number 3. That is a tough name. And he's terrifying. He is terrifying. Like, I was thinking about the Maul finale, Maul Shadow Lord, how the name of the episode is just called the Dark Lord. Vader doesn't even say a word, and he's terrifying. And that's in animation. Like, think if we would have seen any of those scenes in live action, how terrifying he is in that hallway scene of Rogue One, how terrifying he is in the OT. For anyone out there who got to watch it in theaters for the first time, were you scared? You should be. Vader, Darth Vader. Iconic, number 3. Okay. Number 2. Before I read number 1, we're going to do the honorable mentions, but number 2. Now, some of you might have some issues with my number 2, but I had to throw a girlie in there. You know, we got all these guys. I had to throw a girlie in there, and for right reasons. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to guess. Okay. Number 2, Aura Singh. The girl literally has the word aura in her name. Like, if we're going to talk about names that just make you think, oh, that person's probably cool. Aura Singh. Hello? That name is tough. It hits. Aura Singh. So the research I did, originally she was created to be sort of a background character made entirely of aura. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Like an alien species made of like emotional light and a guiding energy. Aura Singh. The fact that her original character concept was she is just aura. That is so cool. That is so cool. And in the EU, as I read, she is a former Jedi Padawan. So in the EU, she's one with the Force is with her. And she's named Aura Singh because it's not Aura Shout, it's not Aura Cry, it's not Aura Tremble, it's Aura Singh. As in beautiful, calm, emotional, moving, tough, cool, slay, ate, devoured, Remy the rat, cooked. Aura Singh, number 2. And that is a strong number 2 that I will stand by till the end of my days. Okay, let's get into some honorable mentions before I just lay number 1 on you. Honorable mention number 1, Shock T. I put this as honorable mentions because when originally I asked Grant, we were in the car together, I'm like, hey, I'm going to put together these show notes while we drive for a little bit. What are some tough, cool Star Wars names that you can think of? Right off the bat, he said Shock T. So that had to be an honorable mention because, you know, his pitch, I have to honor it. Honorable mention, Shock T. Very cool. Very cool character design. We're not going to get into the designs because, as I said, this is full government name, birth certificate paper only. We're not looking at pictures. We're not any of that. Not looking at the passport photos. Just looking at the name tag only. Shock T. That person's cool. He or she. Next honorable mention, Commander Wolf. That hits. For any of you fans of the clones out there, Commander Wolf, there's a lot of cool clone names. Okay, Fives, Crosshair, Hunter, Grant likes Waxer. There is a lot of cool clone names. They're tough. Duh, they're genetically engineered Mandalorian soldiers. That's all I need to tell you for you to know that these guys mean business and that they're cool and that they're strong and that they're tough. TUFF. Commander Wolf. Next on the honorable mention, Chopper. Again, I don't need to know anything about this character to know that, like, he means business. And he does. Chopper. That is so tough. Like, when Dave Filoni was like, okay, we're in the writer's room, Star Wars Rebels, what are we going to name these characters? Gara Zabarelius, okay, tough, Kanan Jarrus, Slay, Harrison Doolan, nice, Sabine Wren, cool, Ezra Bridger, got it. Chopper. He could have named the droid anything. Slay. Honorable mention, Chopper. 2 more honorable mentions that go hand in hand. They're 2 sides of the same coin. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Wow, that sounded like Dex. Obi-Wan. Hello, Dex. Oh my goodness. Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Specifically when Sam Witwer says it, because that's my last honorable mention, is the name Maul. Like when Sam Witwer's like, I am Maul. Chills! Chills, mama. Chills. This is a Chili's. Mall. That is a cool name. That is tough. That is tough. Which I think poetically, because it rhymes creatively, leads us to our number one. And if you haven't guessed it by now, by all the read between the lines clues, number one of the coolest, toughest Star Wars name in the entire universe, Savage Opress. I'm going to say that again. Savage Opress. Now, if you're out there and you're one of my supporters and, you know me in the wild and you're trying to support my new hobby, I appreciate it. I see you. I love you. And you don't know anything about Star Wars. You're just here along for the ride. Savage Opress is a crazy guy. He's a mean dude. Basically, what I found, how they came up with this name, all I could find was the writers just came up with it because they wanted something to sound cool. Like, it wasn't even, how does this roll off the tongue? How does this reflect? No. We needed a character name that sounded cool. And Savage Opress is literally just Savage Opress. Mama. And it is meant to reflect the character's brutal nature and tyrannical role. You cannot tell me that is not the toughest name in Star Wars. And I'm sure you can. I'm sure I'll get the comments. I'm sure I'll get the DMs, whatever. And that's great. Because I want to create open conversation, build the community. Welcome to the village. I'm the Village Jedi Marina. Savage Opress, though, has got to be my number one. And I'm dead on that hill. I think that is the toughest Star Wars name. Guaranteed. So that's our list. Let's go through it. Number 10 was Boba Fett. Number 9, Vizsla. Number 8, Kit Fisto. 7, Lando Calrissian. 6, Thrawn. 5, Cal Kestis. 4, Anakin Skywalker. 3, Darth Vader. 2, Aura Singh. And 1, Savage Opress. So, I also went on Instagram and asked you guys, the listeners, on Instagram stories, what are some of your favorite character names in the Star Wars universe? So I would like to visit those on air. So here we go. What were a couple that I appreciated? Some of the responses we got. We got quite a few. This person said Depa Balaba. I do like that one. Baylan Skoll. I do like that one. Is it Scroll or Skull? I can't. Either way, Baylan, you got me. That's cool. Admiral Akbar. True. Bruh. This guy said Salacious B. Crumb. He cooked with that one. That is such a good name. Salacious B. Crumb. True. It's so true. Quinlan Voss or the Seventh Sister. This guy knows ball. Quinlan Voss hits. Like, that's what I mean. It's not even like what's a character you think is cool. No, just names. Like, if you were in the writer's room and you pitched that, would you be getting a raise? That's what I mean. Quinlan Voss, you're getting a bonus check at the end of the day. See me in my office. Count Dooku, also true. Count Dooku. Count your days, fool. Count Dooku. That one's good. That one hits. My favorite character is the Village Jedi. Okay, well. How sweet. How sweet. How kind. I'm blushing. Okay, Ahsoka Tano. 8. No notes. No crumbs. No nothing. No prisoners. This girl's crazy. Ahsoka Tano. He knew what he was doing, especially when you think about the lore of the name just in general, not even thinking about the culture, the morality, the whatever, the sign, the blah, blah, blah. Ahsoka Tano was supposed to be Ashla, which is why she uses that as her alter ego, as we see after Order 66. She was meant, though, Dave wanted to name her Ashla as a nod to George Lucas's previous idea to name the light side of the Force the Ashla. Dave cooked. He was like, what do I want this character to represent? It is the light side and all that is good about being a Jedi. Ashla. And George was like, Like, and then Dave was like, okay, fine. Ahsoka. And he's like, approved. Bonus check. Yeah, that one's good. That one's good. Thrawn, true. Anakin, true. Ezra Bridger, true. Cal Kestis, slay. Rey, love that one. The only thing I don't like about Rey as a name, because we all know I love her as a character, I dress up as her, I glaze her, is how it is kind of mid, okay? I'll admit that. It does sound cool, but eventually you're like, because especially when you think about the other girlies, okay? Not to pit women against women, but that's exactly what we're going to do. Leia Organa, Padme Amidala, Hera Syndulla. You see what I mean? Like, we've got the flowy, cool names for the women who could take you out and you would not want to be alone in a room with. But then Rey, it's just Rey. And the whole premise of her character in the final movie is like, Rey what? Rey who? Rey me? Rey you? Rey. And I get, okay, Rey Palpatine. See, it doesn't flow. Leia Organa. Like, it sounds like a song. Rey. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a D1 hater. We all know that. Welcome to the Village Jedi. Luke, cool. This one says Hunter. Again, 8. I love that character name. Grand Inquisitor. Abso-fruitly. Toro Calican. See, I can see exactly who wrote this, and I can honestly say you know more than me. I can honestly say you outrank me when it comes to knowledge. I do not know who that is. Oh, future episode, research Toro Calican. See, this is the thing, is maybe I just need to widen my horizons, because maybe this list would look different if I had more of an expanded knowledge as far as like the games and the comics and the expanded universe. Like, there are so many cool Star Wars names out there. And so that's why I wanted to do this episode, just kind of a nice way to get back into the groove, but also a fun way to just express part of why I love Star Wars. And part of what I love about Star Wars is the creativity. I like that when you hear names, it's something that's not like anything else. So that's a qualm I have with Rose Tico. Does this mean there are roses in Star Wars universe? Not to be that kind of fan, but like, you know what I mean. Rose, Luke. If there was ever like a Jerry out there, or like an Amanda. Like, I'm not a fan of those kinds of names. Devin, not a huge fan. Riley. Like, there's just some names, like Rook Cast hits. It hits. So that's what I mean, is I don't like when there are names in universe that you're just kind of like, bruh, I work with that guy, you know, or I signed that girl's check. Like, I just wish that there was a little more awareness. That's one of my qualms. There's my soapbox. We all know how much I love it, and now how it's like a repeated guest star co-host on this podcast. So let's drag it out. If you are going to write a sequel film, I don't want a main character named Finn. I don't want a main character named Poe. Kung Fu Panda? Honey, that's your target audience. That's how old the people going to this theater are. They've seen those movies a million times. Rose, Rey, General Hux. Even Kylo Ren is cool, but like Ben Solo, I just mean, like, where is the era of these hotties? Right? Lando Calrissian. What happened to that flair? Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, and like Boba Fett. Like, what happened to the pizzazz? Where's the glittery glue on the showroom floor, apparently? So Let's just slide that box back over there. That's why I wanted to do this episode, is because that is something I appreciate about Star Wars storytelling and characters as a whole, is when they have that it factor. You know, like when someone asks me what my favorite character and it is tied to a cool name, bonus points. You know, or when someone tells me their favorite character and it has a cool name, bonus points. Like, the cool name isn't all of the character, because obviously there's some characters out there with really cool names that, you know, we don't have a lot of lore on them, and that's fine. But I would love to have more lore on them, because the name itself is what's drawing me to that potential story. So that's kind of all I've got to say as far as the complaining has to go. But you guys know every Friday there's got to be a little bit of complaining, because I am a Star Wars fan, a certified fan. So no one complains about Star Wars more than the fans, right? All right. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me. This is where the fun ends. My only hope is you enjoyed, and I will yap at you guys again next Friday. Bye!
This has been The Village Jedi. Thank you so much for listening. To support this show, please leave a rating or review wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Go check out the YouTube channel, or send me an email to be read and discussed on air. You can also tell a fellow nerd to build the community. I mean this in the nerdiest way possible. May the Force be with you.